There's nothing like waking up in space, hey? Hi everyone, it's Tallara and welcome back to Citizen Sleeper. It is cycle 7, and at this point we have got a bunch of different drives or quests, including we need to build a ship mine, disable our tracker, extract the past, fix the ambergris, get to know Emphas, and survive. So underneath each of these there's more particular objectives, but what I want to do today is go meet up with Ambergris. This is, or the ship's name is Ambergris, but we're meeting up with Ankita, a mercenary that we met at the end of our last episode. Unfortunately, her ship has been a bit damaged and she asked for our help. She seems like a super cool character, so I really wanted to prioritize helping her out if I could. And one of the things we need to do is rewire the drones. Luckily, we have a +1 to the interface stat, which means we should be fairly good at this. Ankita has a couple of glitched repair drones in storage. If you can rewire them, they can repair the ambergris for you. Perfect. We've got a lot of really good dice rolls today, actually. We've got 3 6s, which give us a 100% chance of a positive result. So let's start there. It takes time, skill, and some scavenging to get the twin drones working, but you manage it. They can take the repairs from here. Perfect. So that's done. The ambergris doesn't look good, but time and attention should see it return to a functional state. However, the ambergris is in a delicate condition, so it'd be all too easy to push it over into a cascading collapse. Uh-oh, we definitely don't want that. Alright, so we've rewired the drones, and then I guess next we need to do some hull repairs. Let's get a dice in here. Let's start our action. Nice, neutral outcome. Turns out years of retrofits have made Amber a fragile patient. Each repair is 2 steps forward and 1 step back, unfortunately. Alright, so let's do one more set of hull repairs here. I don't want to use all my actions in the one go, but with Ankita's help, you systemically isolate, remove, repair, and reseal the hull plates. Amber is looking better and better by the hour. I like the sound of that. Okay, so because the drones are rewired, I think that means that they'll slowly actually repair the ship all on their own, if I'm understanding it correctly. So I think if I leave right now, the ambergris will slowly do a little bit of self-repair, if you will. From here, we're gonna go get our daily lunch with our friend Emphas. Ooh, he's got, oh, that's the quest that he was asking for. I thought this was a new food offering, but no, Emphas wants to make an old recipe, and he's asking for girole caps, which is something we need to do. First, though, we're gonna order some food and have a full tummy. Our mouth stings as our sensorium sends warning signals over and over. Ah, this is the good stuff. And then, I guess we'll head to surgery, and I wanted to see how much the stabilizer is being sold for. Sabine is selling off the case of stabilizer vial by vial. You haven't been able to talk with them since your last visit, and we probably won't unless we spend more money to do so. Luckily, we have 1 stabilizer right now, so it's not a need, but obviously we're going to need to save up some money and buy some more. So we'll leave that for now. Another thing we need money for is to get through the low end gate. After some spacers caused some trouble in the low end, Yatagan have imposed a toll for entry. No one gets in without paying. We've got 82 cryo right now, and the toll is only 60 cryo, so I think I'm going to pay this and open up more of the eye. You hand over the chits to the Yatagan enforcer, and he nods you through. Nice, so now we can go up this way. Low end, the ramshackle residential district. Here we've got 2 options. No one knows us here. We'll need to change that if we want to access the low end's residents and facilities. So we've got 2 options, either block maintenance or play Tavla. Looks like playing Tavla will give us a little bit more of a reputation. It does cost money. The clack of filter caps can be heard in every concourse in the low end, as the residents play rotating rounds of this game for cryo. Let's give that a shot. You duel with a sharp-eyed teenager, blocking each other with careful moves. You win, and the crowd chatters, clearly impressed. And we got +3 cryo. Now, we've only got one more action for the day. It looks like we did get enough notoriety that we can at least go to Mingi Express, which is a noodle factory in the low end. And here we can either help manufacture noodles, so aka work for some money, or we can also work. Okay, this is a place for us to get a job. We either make the noodles or we deliver the noodles, and we'll get cryo or energy for doing each one. Good to know that that's an option. Then up here is the Free Spoke, a towering transit hub. The eye's really opening up to us now. The spoke is layer after layer after layer of dense urban fabric. The only way to explore it is vertically. Dang, okay. We'll leave that for now. So again, let's take a closer look at our quests right now. We need to gain access to the Ort Fabricator. We need to help Feng chase his leads, which is this one. Hack the shipyard and slot the Ripper Worm. Then we need to repair the ambergris, get Emphas some Girol caps, and then buy a vial of stabilizer. So I think the thing we need to do right now is hack the shipyard and slot the Ripper Worm. So this is the shipyard. How will we hack it, though? I guess if I go into the cloud and hack this key node, perhaps? Or is there something else I need to do here? Over here, the Havenj port. I'm not quite sure how we're supposed to hack the shipyard. There's a bunch of different things here. Keynodes, Yatagan agents. Speaking of Yatagan agents, I guess now might be a good time to use our 1 dice, because that will match the input. Some gang enforcers' implants are chirping out comm signals. Time to see what they're talking about. Knowledge is power, as they say. Let's bypass the access protocols and extract the data. Alright. We got Yatagan data, a data cache skimmed from Yatagan hardware. I think that's all we're going to be able to do for this cycle. Ah, right. I was confused about hacking the shipyard, but we already installed the Ripper Worm. This is just simply a waiting game now. We need to wait for the Ripper Worm to run through the shipyard network. So there's nothing we need to do there. That's simply a waiting game. Gotcha. I forgot that little fact. Well, if that's the case, we're out of actions for today, but we can go to the bar and get a drink. We're working on becoming an Overlook regular, and buying a few drinks should help us do just that. Can I just buy another drink right now and become a regular? Or is it one at a time? Nope, there we go. The Overlook isn't exactly a restaurant, but we're now officially a regular after buying a few drinks. The glass shatters on the steel bar beside you, and the taunts don't take long to follow. "Hey, Haunt!" the spacer calls across the low room. "What are you doing here?" He laughs at his own lame joke. "Playing human?" We're just not going to engage. We're going to ignore him. You hunch a little further, staring at the hundreds of tiny impact points that scar the bar's surface. A hand falls on your shoulder, but as you flinch away, it pats reassuringly. You freeze in place. "Out!" the voice comes from behind you, spat out like a shot. You turn to see bright eyes, dark hair, a stare that could breach the wall and vent you all into hard vacuum. This is Tallara, the owner of the Overlook. Wow, I love her tattoos. As you turn back to the spacer, the second glass comes sailing through the air. Do you think I have enough skill to catch it? It would be epic if I could. You reach up a hand and the glass shatters across your forearm, showering you in fragments. Aw, I was trying to do an epic catch there, but it didn't work out. Through the haze of glass and Girol vapor, you see Tallara leap the bar and close the distance to the spacer. The thud as he slams into the wall echoes around the bar like thunder. Now flanked by other figures, quick to their feet, Tallara throws the spacer out through the door and stands silhouetted against the rotunda lights. You touch your arm and it feels wet. Someone helps you to your feet and back onto your stool. Broken glass rattles as it is cleared, and a fresh measure of Girol is glugged out in front of you. That same hand, warm, heavy, falls on your shoulder once more. He isn't coming back. We don't tolerate that kind of shit here. Talla flops onto the stool beside you. Let's get a look at you. Talla wipes the powdered glass from around the wound, and someone places a bottle of alcohol in a metal tin with tweezers on the bar. She disinfects them and then turns to you. That was an ambitious catch, she smiles, pulling a sliver of glass from your forearm. Stupid, but ambitious. You don't feel the pain, only the sting of status messages your body delivers concerning dermal damage and exposed structures. You do feel the care, though, as Talla's bright eyes search your thick synthetic skin for splinters. I've said this before, the eye may seem like a very unfriendly place, and it surely is in a number of different ways, but the people we've come across here, we are so fortunate to have come across so many genuinely kind people, and it looks like we can add Talla to that list. She really stood up for us here. Let's watch her work. Talla works with the skill of someone who has had to pick glass splinters from the skin of a stranger before. She hones in on each bright shard, all the time tapping the tweezer tips in little rhythms that only she can follow. Talla smiles to herself. So, you been on the eye long? I just arrived. I thought so. I've only seen you here a couple of times. A splinter clinks into the tin. Not everyone is like that, idiot. We don't all hate you. She glances around. Some of the regulars, maybe they fear you. Maybe they're just curious. I don't know. But I do know that the Overlook is a safe place. I know what it's like to be new in this place. Trust me. She meets your eye. I'm not trying to convince you of anything or separate you from your chits. I just want you to know that if you need somewhere, you can always come here. I know the rations we've got aren't much and the company is limited, but if you need work, I'll happily put you behind the bar, and if you need shelter, well, we can discuss that. You'll be safe. I usually have Francis on the door, but he's up in the Greenway this cycle, haggling with our supplier. Francis tends to be particular about what we serve, even if the clientele isn't. She places her tweezers in the tin with a clink. That's you, Sleeper. Here. She slides a glass of Girol to you. This'll help. She stops, her hand still on the glass. Wait, does this help? I mean, can you get drunk? Well, Talla, let's find out. She laughs. Just don't sit here too long. I'd hate to see you become a real regular. She walks back around the bar, gathering the glasses as she does, and before long is retelling how she threw that spacer out to a new group that just wandered in, complete with dramatic actions. She gestures in your direction, and you instinctively look away, back to the worn surface of the bar. You take a sip of the Girol. The earthy, fungal tones fill your senses, almost blocking out sight and sound, like diving headfirst into a bog. You may not be able to get drunk, but this connection to something grown, something fermented, something old, feels good. Wow, okay, so we met another really friendly face here in Talla. She didn't have to be that kind, and she was. I think so far the best part about this game has been meeting this eclectic cast of characters. The art for each of them is fantastic. They're all so unique, and they are all so genuinely kind. It's really, really nice, actually. Alright, I think that's all we can do for this cycle, so let's return home to our empty container. Unfortunately, the person who's tracking me is getting closer and closer, but there's not much we can do for the time being except get some rest and tackle whatever we've got facing us tomorrow. Alrighty. We got some good dice today, which is fantastic. We're still waiting on the Ripper Worm to go through the closed network, but it should be done tomorrow, I think. We'll probably start by going to help out our new mercenary friend at the Ambergris. We can do some hull repairs. There we go. The Amber's looking better and better by the hour. Love to see that. I think we might be able to finish it off right now if I'm able to get a good action here. Ah, of course we got a negative outcome. A hull breach triggers a shock depressurization. Ankita seals the breach, but not before you're slammed into the compartment wall. Well, that wasn't ideal. Let's try it one more time, shall we? There we go. With Ankita's help, you systematically isolate, remove, repair, and reseal the hull plates. I think the Ambergris is going to be in tip-top shape here now. Ankita is crouched in the computing core of the ambergris, swearing to herself when you enter. She doesn't look up. These shits completely ruined the core's connectors when they cut it. She holds up a thick fistful of ragged wires. The ship mine they ripped won't even be usable without replacing these. She throws the bundle of wires across the room. Amateurs. Who took it anyway? She stands. If I knew, do you think I'd be waiting around in here rather than out there with my boot on their neck? Yatagan, some spacer crew? No way to know. But they got in with one of my crew's access chips, so they either killed him, robbed him, or he was in on it. No good options. Ankita climbs out of the cooling well where the ship mine should be, the space suddenly crowded with her on the same level as you, towering over you as she stoops beneath the low curved ceiling. Come on, nothing to be done here. She leads you back through the guts of amber, though you could find the way back yourself. The repair process has left you familiar with the cutter's idiosyncratic layout, all diagonal angles and bundled tubes. So what do we do now? Ankita seems lost in thought, and you focus on the corridors, ducking below conduits and passing through bulkheads. Eventually you arrive in the galley, though it's hard to tell. Most of the benches and prep surfaces are covered in half-stripped components and welded hull patches. Ankita shoves a box of filters to the floor and sits. There's no way around it, she starts out of nowhere. We need a new ship mine. Where from? Scrap freighter, ord exchange, hell, find one in the overlooked bathroom. Doesn't matter where, just matters that we get one. She rubs her forehead. It seems I'm about to do something very stupid, but hey, I came here, didn't I? Why not make a run of it? She fixes you with a hard stare. Sleeper, you're all I've got. No crew, no friends, you're it. She looks uncomfortable. I appreciate the time you've put in on Amber, and I'm sure she would too, if she could. What I'm saying is, if you screw me on this, I will kill you. She leans over and hands you a stack of chits. A big stack of chits. You don't dare to count them. Get me that shipment, Sleeper. Don't make me regret this. You won't. She sighs. Look, just get out of here before I change my mind. You slip out of the galley and head back towards the main lock. As you do, Amber growls and creaks like a caged animal. You reach out a hand to calm her. Time to find Ankita a ship mine, somehow. So we just got 100 cryo, which is nice, but we've actually already got something here. We've got a ship mined fragment, which I found. So we might be able to actually build a ship mine. We've got a couple of different options here. We just need to find our ship mine. How we get it, I guess, doesn't really matter. We've heard talk of a fabricator owned by the Ort Exchange. With that and a few fragments, we could actually build a ship mined core. Now the question is, how or where would I get more fragments? We could work at the shipyard maybe and try to find some there. We could see if there's any for sale once some salvage ships come in. Let's just go to the Ord Exchange first. Yeah, so there is an old ship mined fabrication stack in the back of the market, but only trusted traders are able to get access to it. So let's sell a few more components that we have to up our rep. Okay, we also get plus 12 cryo there as well. We could also try to play the exchange. The flow of chits and components in the exchange is complex, but a sharp eye and some tight trades could net you a good margin. We haven't tried that yet. I guess we could try it. Maybe I'll save my actions and instead try to go work at the shipyard. And try to find a way to get a couple more of these fragments or any other components. Alrighty, we will assist a shipbuilder. You don't have connections, but you do have skills. If you can get a shipbuilder to notice them, then you might be in. Yeah, it would be nice to have an in, and as well, it would be nice if we could maybe find some stuff here while we're working. Oh, negative outcome. The shipbuilders want nothing to do with you, and you're laughed away after you trip over a toolbox and crash into a crate. Great. Fantastic. Okay, well, that's not gonna work. And because of that, I am now very hungry, so we're gonna stop over here and order some fungus. There we go, that's much better. All we've got left is a 2 dice, so let's see if we can use that in here to hack any of these nodes. Yes, we can hack key node 4693. This node is orbited by the remains of a corporate countermeasure broken long ago by hackers. We can bypass and extract the data using our 2, which gives us a +1 encrypted key. We've got a ton of those now. We've got 3 encrypted keys, 1 Yatagan data, and 1 Habanaj data. Uh-oh. A glimmer in the dark catches your eyes. The orb of Hunter's head appears in the distance. It's looking for you. Do we run? Do we hide? Do we run? I'm gonna try hiding. You slip down into the ghostly structures of the eye, a feeling like passing through a cloud as their data structures deform and reform around you. Another glimmer catches your eye, closer now, that roving orb wreathed in tentacles. It flickers, jumps once, twice, and then it's here. Hunter is here. Entity, submit to inquiry. Hunter reaches for you in that unpleasantly familiar way. It's waving threads, creating a cage. I guess my hiding didn't work. Now we must struggle. You push against the threads as they close in, becoming frenzied as you push them aside. You're caught by whipping tendrils and feel them pulling you away from the anchor of your body. You push through, clearing the threads. Entity, hold for processing, comes the scream from behind, but you're already gliding away, back to your anchor, your body. You awake, dizzy, distorted, but safe. Oh man, I hate those run-ins with that Hunter. It is always very scary. We've managed to get away at this point, but God knows that might not always be the case. Whew, okay. So now we can actually do a bar shift at Overlook, which is cool. Tala's as good as her word and happy to throw a shift or 2 your way. The pay isn't great, but tips can make all the difference. Next time we've got some spare energy, perhaps we'll give that a shot. But for now, I think we're going to head home to the empty container and end our cycle. Alrighty. Unfortunately, whoever's tracking me is going to be arriving very, very soon. I don't like the look of that. So, let's head over to Feng, because he said, of course, if we help him, he's going to help us. Hopefully, he'll stick to his word. As you arrive, Feng comes striding towards you, taking you by surprise. Let's go, Sleeper. He puts a hand on your shoulder and turns you back the way you came. Go where? To see Hardin Hurst. He gives you a sideways glance. Isn't that what you're here for? He steps into the passageway, guiding you downring towards the shipyard. Sorry for the hurry, but we have something of an opportunity. That data you ripped. Well done, by the way. Tells me Hardin is making a rare inspection of the sidereal horizon this cycle. It's the perfect chance to confront him outside of that compound he hides in. Feng takes a sharp turn into a dimly lit side passage. What's the sidereal horizon? Still catching up? That's the massive colony ship being built out in the shipyard. Biggest commission Habanaj has ever had. Feng slows and slips into a dark service tunnel where, somewhere in the back, a water pipe drips. It's him, Sleeper, the same Hardin Hurst. Our worm ripped out decades of records that mention him by name, an entire trail of documentation from the first days of the Solheim collapse until now. He wrote out the whole thing, slipped into Habanaj when it first broke off from the Union. He paces in the tunnel, a hand rubbing at the back of his head. I need you to understand something about Solheim, Sleeper. I don't know what you know about the collapse, but it wasn't as instant as it sounds. It wasn't like Solheim was here running the station one day and the next Erland's Union took power. Back then, Solheim knew this place was slipping away from them. As the palladium market collapsed, they tried to keep the contractors here working. The pay got smaller, the costs higher. People like my parents were first forced to work non-stop just to keep a berth on the station and water in their tanks. Solheim squeezed every last worker until the mistakes, the accidents, were coming in non-stop. And as new waves of contractors came in, desperate to work, Solheim welcomed them, taking bribes instead of checking pilot license. The whole time Solheim was folding up, dragged into court cases in the central systems, while this severed limb of a station still desperately tried to take all it could. The riots came after the collision at Dock 2. A young pilot, his MEV overloaded with palladium, miscalculated his trajectory and took out a section of the ring. Hundreds died, thousands panicked. My parents told me people were terrified and the blame fell squarely on Solheim. People like to tell stories about Erland, how he brought the factions together, spoke to the crowds, turfed out Solheim. Maybe that's true, but my mother, pregnant with me, locked herself in their MEV and welded it to the dock, while my father joined the improvised crews trying to seal up the ragged edges of the gap. He never came back. Feng pauses in the dark. They sealed it up, though. And by the time they did, Solheim was gone, abandoning every one of us to the black. Apart, Feng finally turns back to you now, his eyes burning, from shits like Hardin. Shits who held their place, rode it out, and slipped into the new structure like nothing had changed, standing shoulder to shoulder with those they had exploited at every step. Feng starts walking again. That's why I can't just let him strut about the shipyard. This time, his past catches up with him. How is he still alive? You mentioned this was all decades ago, right? Clearly, you don't know much about executives. That kind of power comes with certain benefits. Feng rejoins the main passageway, which is now wide and glass-roofed. Through the ceiling, you can see ships in mid-construction, their flanks lit by the flashes of plasma torches. The entrance to the shipyard is ahead. As much as I would like to say this is crazy, because it probably is, just stomping up to one of the head honchos here and confronting them, at this point, Feng seems determined. I like Feng, and we also need his help, so who am I to try to stop him? Let's go. Feng grins. Let's go show the shithead some consequences. He strides to the shipyard entrance and pushes through the doors. A web of corridors lead through the complex, snatches of the construction bays always appearing through windows. Ships are suspended like whale corpses, skeletal, imposing. Feng seems to know exactly where he's going. Before long, you cross into a huge dry dock, locked to one side of the sidereal horizon. A network of platforms and scaffolding cling to the ship's hull, filled with workers and equipment. The sound is stretched out by the vast space, so that the welding, cutting, and sealing seems to come from everywhere at once. Both you and Feng spot them at the same time, a group walking slowly across a gantry, and at the front, two men, one gesturing towards the ship, and the other, stick-thin, cleanly dressed, with a shock of gray hair. Hardin. You and Feng say his name in unison, and Feng sets off up the staircase to the gantry with you following behind. As you come to the same level, the group is passing closer, the foreman gesturing to the work being done throughout the dock, and Hardin nodding along. "Hardin Hurst!" Feng shouts across the noise, taking you by surprise. His voice bounces and comes back in a rippling echo. The figures turn. "Yes?" Hardin asks quizzically, raising an eyebrow. He glances between you and Feng, and you see his gaze linger on your body, unsure of why a sleeper might be in this place. "You are a traitor, Hardin, a Solheim executive who tried to hide here among its victims." Feng's voice is steady, strong. "You stand for everything the Eye was rebuilt in the shadow of, against everything Erlen stood for, everything Havanaj stands for. You have no place on this station." For a moment, stillness descends on the group, as if everyone was held in place by the rattle of construction. Hardin laughs. "Well, good to meet you too." He glances around at those around him. Some are smiling, the others nervous. "You're from the systems branch, are you not?" asks Hardin, inspecting Feng's clothing. Feng turns to the foreman. "You need to call your security. This man is a corporate agent." The foreman glances between Feng and Hardin, his hands drumming at his sides. Hardin leans towards him and says something inaudible. The foreman nods. I'm just going to stay silent here and let Feng take point. Feng holds up a stick of memory. "You guessed right. I am systems, and I have records that link you directly to Solheim right here." He turns to the foreman again. "So once again, I'm asking you to take this man into the custody of the shipyard." The foreman remains still. Hardin's voice is calm, measured. "If you have such data, why hasn't it been submitted at a members' meeting for proper review?" He shakes his head. "I have nothing to hide, unlike a man who does not announce his name, who enters my shipyard with corporate property in tow, and tries to turn my own men against me." You hear it now, the echoing sound of boots on walkways coming from all angles at once, and then settling behind you. "Please," says Hardin, "submit the data through the correct channels, then we can talk. For now, however, you must leave." He gestures behind you to the security detail, their hands on boxy black sidearms at their sides. Feng spits. "Hardin, you shithead, you can't wriggle out of this one." A security officer draws their weapon and levels it. Feng turns and stares him down. "We need to calm Feng down. I understand he's angry, but it is not worth losing your life over this, Feng." You look at Feng. He shakes his head and puts a hand on your shoulder. "Let's go," says Feng, and he pushes through security, heading back down the walkway. Phew. Okay, I'm glad we're walking away from that. I got worried. Once security has walked you out of the shipyard and nudged you back into the corridor, Feng picks up pace. You try to keep up as he slips into the shadows of an entrance. Feng is grinning ear to ear. You know, Sleeper, sometimes people are exactly how you expect them to be. Something pings in his pocket and he takes it out. On the slate, a web of connections starts drawing itself out, stretching to a set of points around the ring. Got him, mutters Feng. What's going on? Hardin is doing what any sneaky shithead always does, calling his friends. We are tracking his outgoing messages. Feng's grin looks ghostly in the uplight of his screen. The old ways are best. Spook them good enough and they'll give the game away. He jabs at the slate, and you see the web is being drawn over a map of the ring, lines bouncing from point to point. All these dots, these are Hardin's buddies, the ones he's messaging right now. And we're gonna find them all. So that was on purpose, the whole confrontation. You knew you were gonna get thrown out. Of course, Hardin isn't working alone. We need the full set or nothing. Feng glances around and slips the slate back into his pocket. We better split for now, Sleeper, but this is exactly what we need. Good hunting. With a pat on your shoulder, Feng drifts away, back into the flow of people around the shipyard entrance. You watch him go, unsure whether to be angry or impressed. Okay. So, ever since our trip to the shipyard, Feng has been missing from his bay. What's going on? So all we can do, I guess, is wait. I don't like that Feng is missing, but I don't know that we have any other choice for right now. There's a merchant freighter in town. What do they have? Ooh, they've got a ship mine fragment. The merchants have acquired a couple of rare ship mine fragments and they are selling them at a high price. Ship mine fragments are hard to come by. The system's merchants can only source a couple at a time. It's a lot of money, 60 cryo, but if we're gonna help out our new mercenary friend, I think we've got to pay it. You reluctantly hand over the chits. You know they're fleecing you, but you need this. We could haggle over prices if we had a higher skill, but we don't. The question is, I don't even know how many ship mine fragments we need. We're not going to be able to find out until I'm able to sell more scrap to the Ort Exchange. Okay, so what should we do then? I'd say, I guess we'll go work at the shipyard again. Hopefully today's day will go a little bit better than yesterday's. There we go. We observe the shipbuilders and try to make ourselves useful, carrying tools and crates. We begin to notice how they work. Let's do that again and see if we can find anything while we're working. Nope, negative outcome. Darn, our work at the shipyard really hasn't panned out, unfortunately. Grab some food. That's better. And then, guess we'll explore the low end a little bit. Yeah, let's do some block maintenance. Maintained by their residents, the ramshackle blocks are always in need of repairs. Helping out is a good way to make friends. Ugh, negative outcome. You help an older resident to revive their terminal, but after hours of assembling and reassembling, you realize you fried the CPU. Dang, we are not having positive outcomes here today. This sucks. Okay. Not much we can do. We've got one more action left, but it's only a 1. I don't know how much that's really gonna help. Okay, our other options are to explore the rotunda a bit. So if we roll on a 1, it's a 50% chance of a neutral outcome and a 50% chance of a negative outcome, aka real risky. But you know what? Let's give it a try. 50-50, it's a coin flip. Yes, neutral outcome. We got Dock Watcher. The rotunda's passages are dizzying, but out of intuition or sheer luck, we stumble onto a new location. We're now familiar enough with the dock that we can check out the sealed dock. These old maglocks look like they each need an encrypted key to open. Why the heavy security for a decaying door? Well, luckily for us, we've got a ton of these encrypted keys. So let's open the maglock. The maglock thunks open and you can remove it from the entryway. On to the next one. The maglock thunks open. And it looks like now we have unsealed the dock. What's inside? As you slip inside the sealed dock, a pulsing light grabs your attention. Among the discarded tubing and rusted plates, a machine flickers with a warm glow. You're telling me behind this top secret, highly secured door, there was a decaying vending machine? What the heck? You may remember from a previous episode, when we encountered the hunter in the cloud previously, he mentioned that there was something hidden in the rotunda that was like us. This is what he meant? Let's look around. You don't know when this place was sealed, but from the state of the outer doors high above, it must have been decades ago. In this dark, cavernous space, debris sits in every corner, along with the traces of rough sleepers, though none of it seems recent. Looking past this layer of decay, you see the now faded messages, symbols, and logos of the Eye's original corporate owners still glinting in the shadows. Among all this, the warm glow of the machine seems to be the only sign of life. Let's approach the machine. As you get closer, you recognize the machine's blocky shape, settled into an alcove in the side of the dock. A kind of upright cabinet. It's covered in faded logos and messages, from which you assume it was once an industrial vendor, intended to dispense and manufacture ship fittings and other mechanical parts necessary for the regular running of freight and resource extraction vessels. The manufacturer is listed as Neovend, and you remember an advert from long ago, squeezed among all the off-world recruitment drives that assaulted every planet-born citizen, which chirpily sang that name over and over. You wipe a layer of dust from the cracked screen, thinking of those contractors squeezed by their own corporate employers to pay for every bit of minor maintenance on their rented ships. Enter your registration, chirps a pre-recorded message, catching you off guard. I don't have registration. What happens if I just press some keys? You reach for the keypad and something begins whirring. At first, it sounds like servo motors starting up, but it quickly becomes a whisper, a whining, then a multi-tonal voice that emanates from Neovend. Entity, speak with me. Who's there? There's a squeal, almost like some strange mechanical swallowing or intake of breath before the machine speaks again. I have need of you. You have need of me. That squeal comes again, and you see that it is the 3D printing apparatus in the upper part of the machine resetting into place, so that each time the servos can be orchestrated to produce that whirring, whining voice. You are in danger. Danger? The machine creaks. You are marked for deletion, entity. Hunter tracks you. The screech rattles through the empty dock. You remember the strange head, the figure, the threads closing in. The Hunter, I know exactly who you mean. The Hunter Protocol, they taste your signature. The sudden whines at your teeth on edge. You've seen them. This is the gift of an emulated mind. You close your eyes and the skeleton of the station starts to thrum. Emulated minds are adaptable, move where neurons cannot. The machine resets, but emulation makes you target. How? Hunter searches for illegal entities, Neovend screeches. You are sentient, therefore illegal. The servos judder the vending machine's casing as they reset. Hunter searches for me also. Hide in this machine. You look at the ruined vending machine, an unusual hiding place for sure. Can counter Hunter, but need entity outside machine. The light flickers. Need you. A screen attached to the vending machine with a swiveling arm comes to life. It displays a flickering map of the station, ghostly threaded. The cloud. Points along the rim glow in deep red. Hunter is always gathering. Too much data. Must build nests, explains Neovend. Masters are gone, but continues hunt. Bring this data. Raid its nests. Who is its master? Station builder, Solheim. The machine rumbles impatiently. Long gone. Their protocols still haunt. Bring offerings. Save self, Neovend says pointedly. Mutual need means friends, they conclude, tired of the conversation. The whirring amplifies and then suddenly drops as mechanisms within the machine click back into place. The glow fades and you are left stood in the dark of the sealed dock, that whirring voice ringing in your ears. Okay, so we just got a new drive from that. Free Neovend. Neovend is hiding from the Hunter Protocol. They need your help to counter it. I mean, we're running out of time before the Hunter does get to us, and I was hoping that our friend Feng was going to be able to help us, but unfortunately, ever since our trip to the shipyard, he's been missing. So maybe Neovend is our best shot here. Now, fortunately for us... Oh, never mind. I thought we had some of the data that it wants. But no, we don't. We might need to go searching for that tomorrow. I really don't like how little time we have here. It's not going to be long before our hunter arrives. We're going to need to see what we can do. Another exciting day here on the Eye. Let's end this cycle and prepare for the next. Thank you all so much for watching our Let's Play series of Citizen Sleeper so far. If you're enjoying it, I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below. And don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel so you're always notified when new episodes are live. Thank you all again for watching, and I'll see you guys again real soon.